Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Yes. Excuse me. Venom K already with it, right? FD hiding that Somali girl from the cops. Hysterical. Oh, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. So I was really questioning whether I wanted to stream because I'm streaming on top of pause. I'm streaming right on top of BGS right now, and yeah, probably not the smartest discussing. You're late. I know. Probably not the smartest thing to do right now, right? To be streaming while BGS is streaming. Probably not. So I think we're gonna be lean today, right? We're gonna be lean. We're not gonna be we're gonna be doing numbers today. Okay. So um I wanted to tie, and yes, I found out about the rotor thing early. So my lady is actually, she follows celebrity on on IG, which I didn't even tell, like I didn't even realize that until she sent me the sent me the link on IGDM, and I was like, wait a minute. So yeah, so she follows celebrity on IG. Celebrity's name on IG is Queen of Accountability or something along those lines. So yeah, so I and then I got a message from a brother in my comments about it also. So yes, I've been watching. I'm going to tie that to Miss Fanny Willis out of Atlanta. I'm going to tie that to Kim Foster and Obsidian and their situation. Um, so we're gonna tie all of this, and I wanted to speak about the assumption that these people had that they were on the right side of history, and why Rhoda knew she could get away with this, and all of before maybe about 5 years ago, definitely before 10 years, she could have got away with this. Right? Yes, and we could tie that to Claudine Gay also. Yes, Ishmael, absolutely. These people took for granted their position in society and in history, right? They took for granted the position that they currently occupy, right? So everyone from Chrissy to Kim Foster to Conscious Lee. Yes, I heard Obsidian getting at Conscious Lee, and I heard that little BS what he tried to do. And once again, they're taking their position and their stances for granted, right? Rhoda, Fanny Willis, Carly Russell, Jesse Smollett, all of these people take for granted their ideas of progress. They take for granted that they slayed the dragon called that the dragon they call black male misandry, excuse me, black male misogyny, right? They think they slayed the dragon they call black male misogyny, which really is just black men having opinions. Your opinions are misogynist, right? They took for granted that they slayed black male power. They took for granted that they slayed black males' desires. What you want, what you think, what you believe. They thought they sidestepped it. They thought it didn't matter anymore. They thought they had an unholy alliance with the white racist liberals that allowed for them to sidestep, minimize, and benign neglect black men and black boys. That's what they thought. This is where Susan Rice comes in, right? This is where Joe Scarborough comes in. This is where Rosenberg from not Hot 97, but yeah, Hot 97 come in. When people make sure to congratulate black women in a vacuum. To pat black women on the back in a vacuum. This is where the Democratic Party comes in. Black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party in a vacuum. The unholy alliance. These people took it for granted, right? Rhoda could do what she did. She could play that role. She could scam people out of money, what, 3, 4 times? Because brothers like FD, brothers like Conscious Lee, brothers like Foreign Man in a Foreign Land, brothers like Eddie, black women like Kim Foster, black women like Chrissy, black women like Yanni, definitely black women like Paris Malone with her femicide talk, they made the space for Rhoda. Both women like the women I named and the men I named, and the women and men before them, the black women and men before them. Y'all created the space for Rhoda. Y'all created the space for Carly Russell. Y'all created the space for Juicy Smoulier. Straight black men know that we would be buried with the quickness if we fabricated a lie to get back at an ex. If we fabricated a lie to grift some money by saying, black women are over here attacking me. If we fabricated a lie of being jumped by homophobic people and the deado Chicago winner at 1 o'clock in the morning. Are you serious? Now, what's fascinating, interesting, not so much, is that this is 2 black women and a gay black man. I wonder why straight black men aren't lying this explicitly. I wonder. Because no one gave black men the space. Black men haven't made their own space, nor do they want to. And no one made the space for black women, black men to fabricate whole lies contingent on defecating on black women, defecating on LGBTQ black people. You took for granted your position in this society. You took for granted your unholy alliance with the racist white left. You took it for granted. And you took for granted that anti-black misandry is the fuel that you can run on. Right? You took it for granted. Detroit, I'm going to get into that in a minute. And Detroit says, Mr. Z, where you been? I'm going to get into that in a minute. It ain't even serious. Trust me. Kind of, sort of, not really. Y'all give me a second. Y'all give Mr. Z a second. And we're back. Right? These people took for granted their position. They thought they were on the right side of history. They thought they were on the right side of history, and they thought their side of history is the side where progress is. Right? Black intelligentsia has been running on the fuel of anti-black misandry for some 5 or so decades now. Particularly black women academics. This is why Dr. Jared Ball, Ngichi, and Diallo Kenyatta cringed a little bit. Right? They cringed a little bit listening to some of these Black Panther sisters speak. Jake said 70 years. Ooh. He said, nah, Z, not 50 years, 70 years. Maybe I said that too fast. 70, 70, right? They took it for granted. All right. Your ideas, I'm talking about these people, your ideas of history are misguided. They have this idea of like, and the British dude from Then and Now produces these think pieces on YouTube, and he covers it, and he says it's the politics of inevitability. "Quote unquote progress is inevitable," right? And I say to these people, yes, in their minds, their ideas of progress. I want to be very clear. It's not just progress. It's their ideas of progress are inevitable, and their ideas of progress are correct, right? Their ideas of progress are correct. And there is no space to challenge that, right? There are no alternatives in their mind. And these people don't appreciate the way black men perform masculinity. Instead, depending on where they fit on the political spectrum, they compare black men to white liberal men or to white conservative men and then deem black men lacking. They took their position for granted. They took their position for granted. And they took negative liberty for granted. How am I tying all of this to Kim Foster and Obsidian and to Fanny Willis, right? And to Claudine Gay and to FD Signifier and Conscious Lee and to Chrissy and to Yanni and to Paris? How am I tying this to that? Well, the title of my video, is this the end of an era? BGS a couple days ago covered neoliberalism coming to an end. In the video he covered with y'all, he sent it to me a little while ago. I actually wanted to cover it too, but he beat me to the punch. Right? And that's my fault. I should have covered it, a few days ago, but he sent that to me like a week ago, right? And I listened to it, and I should have covered it, but it's actually better that he did. He better than me at that. But I would say it's not just maybe we're coming to the end of neoliberalism. And actually, you heard one of the dignitaries or high-ranking people cover this. I want to say the G was it? It wasn't the G20. Was it the G20? It was a Japanese woman, and she covered this either at the G20 or the Council of Foreign Relations. One of and she covered it, and yeah, neoliberalism is done. But I would argue it's not just neoliberalism. It's a very toxic idea of hyper individuality and what atomization has done to people, and and you heard Crystal Ball cover this also, right? With how the Chinese can keep their economy going as the US pulls out its corporations. And it's also trying to find your sense of worth and your sense of value through consumerism and materialism. And I don't know if we're in that era anymore. Ooh, good one. Wordplay. Bars. And Trail says, or the end of an era. Not era, but error. You know what, Trail? I might yeah, we're gonna do era/error after this. I'm gonna modify that title. Yes, actually, yes. Perfect. Bars. Right? Thank you, Jake. I didn't even remember I said that, but I did. Yes, I did. And thank you. Yes, I did. And Jake says, didn't you already say, Mr. Z, we've reached the market cap of the blame Jermaine paradox? And that's it. Or paradigm. Yep. Yep. Yes, I did. Thank you. What's going on, Lon? Yes, I did. Right. So, and GC, this is a lot. Yeah, this is a lot. And GC says, just saw that the brick lady contacted the new Black Panther Party for help to handle her surrender to the police. Laughing my butt off. Yep, yep. And the new Black Panther Party is full of a whole lot of, wait a minute, black men, black armed men. Huh. So you use the angst and the resentment of black women to get 40 plus $1,000, $42,000. And then when the white authorities finally catch up to you, you turn around and ask black men for help. Right? Now, let's be very clear. Mr. Z did his little shallow ass research. And I read through the comments because Lovely T posted it in her community tab what happened with Rhoda. And in the comments are a whole lot of black women still copping pleas, but of course they are, because once again, dusty black men. But their comments aren't the one that stand out. There were a couple of comments of black women saying, well, I had a good breakfast today. Right? Well, I had bacon and whatever today. And why that matters is this is another one of those, frogs drinking orange type of comments, right? This is some good orange juice. To say, yeah, this is nothing. And it is to say, and I want to be very clear. So what if a random black man could have died because of her lie? So what if a random black man could have got hemmed up because of her lie? So what if a random black man could have dealt with police brutality because of her lie? So what? Black men deserve that because black men didn't build black women Wakanda. Black men deserve that because black men didn't make black women upper middle class, rich and wealthy women, comparable to, once again, upper middle class, rich and wealthy white women. So what if a black man would have met his untimely demise because of a lie Rhoda told? So what? So what if that would have happened to a black man because of Juicy Smoulier? So what? Huh? So what? You deserve it, black men, because you don't marry angry, mean, bitter, overweight, asshole black women. You don't marry black women who think they're better than you anyway and they're doing you a favor. Huh? So to the young lady that posted the comment about how good her breakfast was, or however she phrased it, I get it. So what if Rhoda lied? It doesn't matter. These Negroes is dusty anyway. They're losers anyway. So what if a cop would have took one of their lives? Doesn't matter. It's not like he would have married a black woman and made her rich. Does a black man really deserve his life if he doesn't marry a black woman and make her rich? Huh? Huh. These people take for granted the position they're in. They took for granted their position. Chrissy took it for granted. Kim Foster took it for granted. That's why she mentally can't deal with the fact that she's going back and forth with, once again, let's remember, That Obsidian is 20 years. 20 years Kim Foster Sr. Don't let it be lost on y'all. Don't let it be lost on y'all. Remember all those 20-something-year-old black women a second and a half after graduating college disrespecting Kevin Samuels, right? Hmm, right? Disrespecting Kevin Samuels to his face. But of course, right? All these people took for granted what they see as progress, and what they saw as progress is being able to practice negative liberty and be able to minimize and disregard black boys and black men and what matters to them, what they think, what they feel, what they believe. They took for granted their matriarchal and gynocratic rule. They took it for granted. They took it for granted. Fanny Willis took for granted that she could open a case against a former president. Rightfully understandable. This is where me and Obsidian disagree. Rightfully, I mean, if he was trying to pressure election officials to rig the game in his favor, kind of, sort of, really illegal. Here's the problem. If you're going to go after a former president, and y'all know Trump ain't going to play fair. You know his people ain't going to play fair. You have to be squeaky clean. Rule number one to breaking the rules. There's still rules to breaking the rules. Rule number one. And so whoever helped to put you up to that, Miss Fanny, probably some white liberals, where are they now? Huh? Where are they now? You took for granted that you can open a case on a former president. Rightfully so. Understandable. If he was really trying to pressure election officials to flip the results for him, that's super illegal. But you took for granted, wait for it, Z, wait for it, progress. You forgot you were a black woman in these United States. Now you want to play the race card at a church. Once again, taking it for granted. You took for granted. You took it for granted. A black woman in America who thinks she can open a case against a former president, and a petty one at that. A, y'all want to talk about sassy? A petty, sassy ass geriatric white man. You thought you could open a case against him and not be squeaky clean. While you're having sex with one of your special prosecutors. Man. And potentially, allegedly, skimming some money off the top to give to him. You took it for granted. Miss Fanny Willis. Moving along. Kim Foster. Oh, I've said this already. Gotta say it again. You took for granted you would be what, the social media version of Oprah? Huh? You took for granted that because you're getting interviewed by women like the white woman from Financial Diet, and you know, you're a graduate of Harvard University, and all of 25 and 30 years ago, men like Obsidian would have nothing on you. You would be able to crush him and keep moving like it didn't happen. You took it for granted. I forgot to say that part. You're right, Black Guru. And Black Guru said, and is a billionaire. Good point. Yes. Good point. Trump's a billionaire. Right? Huh. Maybe these people need to do research on Rockefeller and Carnegie and Teddy Roosevelt and all of these presidents who couldn't just break these. They were millionaires back then, but they would have been super billionaires if they existed now. And you are in Atlanta and you think you could take down a president without being squeaky clean. When former presidents, I mean, literally Operation, what is it, Northwoods, anyone? Huh? These dudes tried to contract people to murk FDR. And FDR had to negotiate with them. Can you imagine? Your president and what would have been a billionaire back then are trying to pay off military people to murk you and take over. And then you got to sit down and negotiate with that person. Once again, this is what happened when you're not a student of history. They might be playing it that way. That's backwards as hell, but okay. And AB says, "Come on, Z. You know Fanny's head was stuck up her her lover's butt. Oops. Hopefully it was backwards. I don't know." Right? Miss Fanny Willis, you took it for granted. Kim Foster, you took for granted that the YouTube exec and the YouTube police would crush Obsidian. You would be able to turn on your crocodile tears, your fake white woman tears. You would throw a temper tantrum. And the good white folks at YouTube would turn Obsidian off for you. Right? Charles said, Fanny eating groceries? Oh, that Fanny. Double entendre somewhere in there. Bars. Right? Maybe that's what Fanny stands for. Right? Huh. And Babylon X says, hope you're, and thank you for the super chat. And right when you say, see, Mr. Z ain't drop a cough yet until just now. I'm trying to hold it. And Babylon X says, hope you're in better health, fam. Last couple streams, the cough was sounding heavy. Peace. I'm trying. I do feel a whole lot better. But once I read this, or once I glanced at it again, yeah, that's how life works. Right? And Ishmael says 30 points in Iowa. Come on, dog. Look, you know, let's be very clear. The Republicans don't want Trump in there either. I just want y'all to be very understand. Establishment Republicans do not want Trump in there either. That's not just a Democrat thing. The Republicans just know better, right? The Republicans are better at big bank, take little bank. The Democrats will sabotage you and make sure you never get there. Anybody want to say Bernie Sanders? The Democrats have all type of mechanisms, right, The Republicans are truly Highlander. Hey, if he get to the peak before all the rest of us, I guess we got to bow down. That's why Trump could have Ted Cruz campaigning for him after the fact. They really are. Whoever got the biggest sword, we'll say, wins. The Democrats are like, no, 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 no. We ain't even gonna give you the chance, right? And I'm saying that to say, America resents all the crap that they try to do to Trump. Trump is not a good guy. This is a slime ball. Slime ball. But y'all being way too obvious. 91 cases? Get out of here. Right? Once again, taking history. You take all of these people. That's the left and the right, but definitely the left. Definitely the left. They took all of this for granted. They took their ideas of progress and upward mobility and moving forward. They took it for granted. They thought they slayed all their ideological dragons. This is where Francis Fukuyama comes in, right? The end of history. Liberal democracy, the way the West sees it and views it, won the day. We slayed all of these dragons. Patriarchy, racism, communism, right? Etc., etc. All of these are gone. They're gone. In the ash heap of history. And what do you know, 30 years later, y'all took it for granted. You took your positions for granted, right? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Y'all took it for granted. Y'all took for granted a, excuse me, order that pushes and advocates for negative liberty, for hyper individuality, for finding your humanity through consumerism. You took it for granted. You took for granted that you could hide behind a university and college degree. You took for granted you can hide bad concepts behind being accomplished and being quote unquote lettered. You took it for granted. And even the white dudes in the tech field are like, yeah, about that college degree, we want to try to find a way to just let our white homeboys in the door now. So your degree, yeah, it matters, but kind of sort of not really. Hmm? I agree with this 100. And Black Uru says, too much of the GOP base loves Trump for the, excuse me, other big Republicans to speak against him. Of course not. They whisper behind his back, and he knows it. Right? And LaKenzie, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker. These people took it for granted. They took all of this for granted. They thought they were on the right side of history. They thought their ideas were correct and there were no alternatives, right? They thought they were on the side of their politics, their ideas were inevitable, progress was inevitable, and they were correct. Everything they thought was right, and they couldn't be more wrong. right? And I really want to stick to this point of minimizing what black men are saying, disregarding it, insulting black men. So let me get this right. The black manosphere was right about Juicy Smollett. We were right about Carly Russell. We were right about Brickface Rhoda. We were right about BLM. Uh-oh. FD Signifier, where are you? Y'all taking a whole lot of L's. Y'all taking a whole lot of L's. Huh? We're right about black women feeling slighted and then forming whole movements about it. Decenter men, Yanny, colorism, Chrissy. Huh? Lexus Exodus, baby daddy, whatever issue she has, that she run off and marry a non-black man, and it's black men are nakers and all this other stuff. Ain't that right? Huh? Chrissy can't get Sergeant Willie Pete, so she turned on the whole black manosphere. Oops. Huh? Tanya TKO, old loser, black Caribbean woman. And so she goes in on black men and lies to black women about their desirability to non-black men. Stop it. How many L's are y'all going to take? You no longer live in the world where you could dismiss what black men are saying, thinking, and what they... Wait a minute, Z, you about to say it? And what black men feel. Ooh. Ooh, I know that one. That one right there. That one right there. Ooh, if there's son that chop your ass. You no longer live in the world where you could dismiss what black men are saying, Kim Foster. You missed the Oprah window by about 30-ish years, 35-ish years. It's over, Kim. Princella, your radical feminism, advocating for black women to munch on vagina, calling them penis worshippers if they don't subscribe to your worldview, it's over. Political lesbianism, the way y'all think of it, it's done. It's over. And I want to be very clear. Black female political lesbianism as a way to stick the middle finger up at black men and what they think and feel. It's done. Y'all can't afford it. I mean, literally, you can't afford it. So let me be very clear. No, BGS, it's not just that neoliberalism is on its way out. All of what they're talking about is on its way out. All of it. Because all of it came in with that. Early 80s on up. Late 70s on up. Mid 70s on up. Early 70s on up. It's done. I said it before. Kim Foster, you're taking for granted how much you exist because of the largesse of white folks, white liberals. Just like you know that Candace Owens exists because of white men, because 94% of black women voted Democrat, and white conservatives are like, ooh, okay, what are we gonna do about this? How do we show we're not racist and anti-black and anti-black women? Ooh, look, that woman over there, her. That one, the cute dark skin one, her. Just like you know that's why Candace Owens exists. Why do you think you exist? Kim Foster, you think you exist just because of your education and your quote-unquote talent? Once again, you take for granted quote unquote progress. You take it for granted. Huh? Lexus Exodus and Paris Milan. Y'all were interviewed by what, Rolling Stone? Paris Milan, you take for granted that a black woman interviewed you, if I'm not mistaken, that worked for Rolling Stone. Last time I checked, Rolling Stone is a white publication. Am I right? And that's coming to an end too. And line says just a diversity hire. It's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. You know, Compassion. I think is it Compassion has on his channel when BGS was covering the white woman Laura when she was on Shay Sade's channel, and when Shay played all those clips for her and whatever, and there's a moment where Shay says something and Laura says, and then you wonder why, and she's saying this to these particular type of black women, and then you wonder why black men date white women. That's a white woman saying that who's married to a black man. Well, will you look at that? Black women, y'all were entirely too loud about wanting these white women's white husbands. Oops. Y'all took everything you were doing in public for granted. You thought you could continue talking crap about black men while salivating. I ain't even gonna do it. It's too easy. Too easy. Salivating over white men. You took for granted that anti-blackness was only something that would affect black men. And if you could just distance yourself from black men enough, you would be okay. You took for granted that anti-blackness was something for old white folks, namely old white men, and that white women weren't necessarily the same, and that young white men weren't necessarily the same. And then Charlottesville happened. Oops. And Trump election. Wait, before Charlottesville happened. And white women at 52% after Trump said grab him by the vagina. And that's not the word he used. White women still voted for him at what, 52%. And Charlottesville was full of nothing but 20 something and 30 something year old white men. That if you switch their clothes, they would look like white hipsters. Huh? You took for granted your idea of progress. You took it for granted. That's the problem. And women like Rhoda, an immigrant, was able to take advantage of your ignorance. Straight up. She came to America. She put her finger to the wind. She could smell the anti-blackness coming from black women. The anti-black misandry coming from black women, and she knew exactly what to exploit. And she did it, and she did it multiple times, and she got money multiple times. Huh? Carly Russell knew that because she was going through it with whatever boyfriend or ex-boyfriend or soon-to-be ex-boyfriend or whatever situation, she could lie about seeing a baby on the side of the road, following the baby, then she get lost and kidnapped and whatever weird ass cockamamie story that she came up with. right? So now that the money is kind of drying up a little bit and they got to kind of restructure this while they still got the chance post COVID-19, huh? And what that would look like to be a stare into white womanhood for black women like Kim Foster, that they've been climbing up ever so slowly since the late 60s, early 70s. It don't look like it's the same stairwell anymore, right? That stairwell look like a slide down now. Oops. You should have been building with black men. Not that fictitious crap y'all talk about building where black men become billionaires and then y'all just come in and be like, oh, we built something. Stop it. Not that. Huh? Not y'all demanding that black men sit right next to you in those feminized universities, listening to women rail on about how horrible men are. And then every day he apologized to you that he was born and raised with a penis. And his way of apologizing is by making you a rich white woman? No, not that building. Y'all took it for granted. Your entire project for the past 60-ish years, you took it for granted. You thought you were right. You thought you were on the right side of history. You thought because you opened the space for women like Rhoda to grift money regurgitating the black boogeyman stories, you thought that that was the way it was supposed to be. You took that for granted that Rhoda was right, or even if she was wrong, there would be no recourse because I mean she only lied on black men, right? You took it for granted. You took anti-black misandry as the fuel that the black community can run on. You took that for granted. You took for granted that you slayed the dragon of black male power and black men's desires, wants, and needs. You took for granted that black men would always be your sidekick. That's why y'all was so mad at Jonathan Owens and Simone Bowles Owens because he didn't accept his role as her side chick because she's more quote unquote famous than him. Huh. You know, it must really sting to see Obama get elected and then re-elected and then to see Trump come in office, to see Trump get elected in 2020. To go from Obama in '08 to Obama in 2012 to Trump in 2016 and to a geriatric, kind of senile, wonder if he's aware, milk toast meh, super racist, hypocrite like Biden in 2020. I know it must sting because that's not what was supposed to happen. And here come Van Jones running past us crying. Y'all took all of this for granted. And now, here's the consequences. FD, you took it for granted. See, you don't want to own that what Kimberly Crenshaw did was way more than just benign neglect. Because I said this to you and I still said it wrong. It wasn't just benign neglect black men and boys. It's worse than that. It's way more dangerous than that. It's turned black men and boys into the boogeyman and then used the fuel that's garnered from the hatred and resentment at them for somehow having the same type of power as white men, but not really. Use that as fuel for the upward mobility of black women. It's actually worse than what I said to you, FD. It's not just benign neglect black boys and black men using intersectionality. It's worse than that. It's using the anger and the resentment that comes from an intersectional lens as the fuel to propel black women past black men, and it's a fuel that keeps, it's almost like a battery source, right? When you use this to push past black men, then you recycle it, the same rhetoric, to push past them even more. And Litty, I'm happy you said this, because I've said this before. People really underestimate how much people vote out of spite. And Lithium says, vote is a revenge vote, right? People really think that people won't vote for something and be like, yeah, I might have to eat crow a little bit, but I'll do that to destroy you. I'll do that to spite you. We've watched black women do it. Ooh, Z, goddamn. We watched white folks do it. Right? And John Jones says, and thank you for the super chat, they're lettered, arrogant, and hard-headed. Yeah, of course. And this is what happens when you take for granted your position. You never consider what the opposing side is saying as legitimate. And then you get sideswiped by a goddamn 18-wheeler, right? And that's what happened. They assumed that what the road they were on was the correct and right road. Kim Foster, FD, all of them assumed that they were on the right road. How else you think you get a Carly Russell and a Fanny Lewis? I'm assuming Fanny Willis. How do you think you get that? How do you think you get a Rhoda? You get a Rhoda because she thinks that Kim Foster's made space for her. She thinks what's her name? Paris Milan made space for her. All that femicide talk makes space for Rhoda to ride on. Paris Milan was supposed to create a nice, smooth, paved road with all her femicide talk. She primes black women for Rhoda to come in lying, and black women be like, yeah, 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 because black men don't protect us and black men don't stand up. Of course, Rhoda thinks that she can do that and get away with it because she has Paris Milan over here ahead of her, paving the road for her. All that femicide talk. Black men offing at black women over every corner. Some black men preying on some 12 and 13-year-old black girl. Of course, that's how you get Tanya TKO getting caught up in it a little bit, and Real Talk with Yanni getting caught up in it a little bit. And all of these people, instead of them saying, "Okay, we got played," Rhoda knew. Rhoda knew that we resent black men. We're angry at black men because they ain't make us rich white women. We feel unprotected by black men, or we're lying about being unprotected by black men. When we say we're unprotected by black men, what we really mean is black men are not protecting our sensibilities by making us rich white women. We feel hurt every time when we're working at the cash register at Target, and a black woman, excuse me, a white woman, let's say that correctly, and a white woman drops a black card, and we feel a certain type of way. There's not one of these blonde, blue-eyed white women with a rich white husband, and these black men ain't there. Shit. I wish I was in that position. I should be in that position. I deserve it. Ain't that right, Chrissy? We need to reconsider what they really mean, and that's for those of us that care. I'm not saying you should. When they say protect them, protect what? Your little hurt feelings because the rich white woman is a rich white woman, Chrissy? Your little hurt feelings, Yanni? What's the incentive? I want to be a kept woman of leisure. That's what you really mean. Huh? Y'all created the space for this. Chrissy, you created the space for this. Because, yeah, Rhoda's hair is a little bit looser curled, but she's a darker skinned black woman. Right? So, according to y'all, if we want to play the intersectional game, yeah, she might have 3C hair, not 4C hair, right? So she don't pass the texturism litmus test, but she does pass the colorism litmus test. I know, y'all, convoluted BS crap. I know. But Chrissy, you created the space for Rhoda. Women like you. Paris, you created the space for Rhoda. Women like you. Tanya TKO, you created the space for Rhoda. Women like you. Yanni, you created the space for women like Rhoda. Women like you. Huh? B. Simone. Oh, yeah, you too. With the way you spoke about Martin Luther King, yeah, you created the space for women like Rhoda. Women like you. Lexus Exodus. Mahogany Pink. Women like you. Samantha Cooker. Women like you. I've seen it before, Ishmael. And Ishmael says, excuse me, why are you using a black card? Okay, there we go. Why are you using a black card at Target? I'm just, excuse me, y'all. Perfectly okay until I start recording, of course. And yes, I've seen it before, Ishmael. I've seen it. Like with my own two eyes, in person. Right? So they took it for granted, is what I'm saying. All the stories we're speaking about right now, from Kim Foster to Fanny Willis, right? All of these people take for granted their position that they currently occupy. Rhoda took it for granted. All these people take for granted that they're not going to have to negotiate with black men. I said it the way I meant it. Jess takes it for granted. Ooh, and I want to do a whole separate video about that. And thank y'all for all the pats on the back and the well wishes. I've read through the comments for the live stream I did a few days ago. You know, that Obsidian came up on. Thank y'all very much. Thank you very, very, very much. Um, but women like Jess take it for granted too that you have to be rich to speak as a man, as a black man, of course, as a black man. Not even rich, insanely wealthy. She talking about billionaires, right? So Rhoda takes for granted her neoliberal assessment. She don't realize that that whole ideology is on its way out the door, right? She takes for granted that money is speech. Ain't that what they said? She takes that for granted. That that's the way it's supposed to be. A whole lot of white men pretty much said in Congress that money is speech, and a black woman of African descent, more recent African descent, says, you know what? Yeah, they're right. These people are not students of history. They don't realize how you can slow walk yourself into a quote unquote capitalist slash feudalist society. Jess is not a student of history. She don't really understand what feudalism actually meant for the lower class people. Money is speech sound nice. It sound nice when you think you're going to be on the positive side of that. She don't realize how little $100,000 is in a world where you remake this into a pseudo capitalist feudalist society. It sound nice, right? Huh. So all these people take for granted their position. Conscious Lee, FD Signifier, Kim Foster, Rhoda, Chrissy, Yanni, Princella, Fanny Willis. All of these people take for granted their position. They take for granted where they fit in this society and this history. And they're wrong, right? And they're wrong. They think there's no alternatives to what they're saying. And thank you for this, Lithium. And Lithium says, and thank you for the super chat. Z channeled Patrice in the panel stream with Jess. But I was glad I brought Jess on, much to many of the brothers' chagrin. And that conversation had to happen, right? Because Jess practiced exactly what we say. Homophobic slurs, check. You dusty bum broke black men, check. Stop talking until you're uber wealthy, check. I subscribe to uber wealthy ideas of who should talk and how much they should have sway in this society. Chicago boys, Milton Friedman, Ayn Rand way of viewing things, check. All right. All of it. Edgelord, 12-year-old white boy, 13, 14-year-old white boy talking points, check. Trying to loud talk the host because he's a black man, check. Right? Taking jabs at the elders, Black Uru, check. Just engaged in everything we think they would. They are who we thought they were. right? Just engaged in all of it. She tried to out talk the host. She minimized what brothers on the panel were saying. She tried to imply that AB was on some, LGBTQ rainbow thing as an insult. Tried to dismiss what Black Uru was saying, right? Act like she couldn't hear Lion. Act like she couldn't hear Better You. Nope. That's what happened when you take for granted that you could jump on a panel and tell Black men to shut up until they become uber wealthy white folks. And to think about the white folks that you named. First, Elon Musk. Oh boy. Elon Musk. The Afrikaner. Who would have been wealthy anyway, who father has ties to some very questionably racist history. Huh. A whole continent of over excuse me, over 1 billion people, and the first person you name. The first. You might as well have named Cecil Rhodes. I'm just saying. Or what was the name of the other one from that same era that was doing Leopold? You might as well have said Leopold or Cecil Rhodes. You might as well. But once again, you take for history that, excuse me, you take for history. Well, it is part of history. You take for granted that you can jump on a panel full of Black men and mommy them and wave your finger at them and demand they kiss your ass and demand that they verbally eat you out in the middle of this panel. You took for granted that you could jump on my panel and son a whole lot of Black men. Imagine a woman walking into the men's bathroom stall and insulting men for standing up peeing, for being at the urinal. Imagine. Huh? And women have been doing that for some decades now, really centuries, some decades now. Black women, namely. And they took for granted that they can continue to do that indefinitely. They took for granted that they can do that indefinitely. Walk into the Black community, hand waving, finger waving at Black men. And clearly, not on my channel. And so, y'all, coming to a close, I definitely want to cover this today because I think all of these stories that we're covering, I think the Fanny Willis story as it, I guess, quote unquote, evolves, right? Or develops. That's a better word. Um, this story with Rhoda as it develops, um, the story with Kim Foster and Obsidian, as that develops, I think you find the same through line. And the through line is a group of people, and even how Consciously and FD Signifier both spoke about this and covered that. You find a common through line, and the common through line are a bunch of people that took for granted that they could continue to minimize, marginalize, dismiss what the masses of black men are saying, thinking, feeling, and what they believe. It is quintessentially at the foundation of intersectionality. It's the elevation of black women at the expense of black men. It's the elevation of what black women think, feel, desire at the expense of what black men think, feel, and desire. Right? And what you see in Carly Russell, which if I'm not mistaken is ADOS, and with Rhoda, who's a black immigrant, are two women that heard and saw what Oprah and Alice Walker, right, and Bell Hooks, and women like Kim Foster and Chrissy and Paris Milan, they saw the space that these women created for them and they took advantage of it. And they were never supposed to get caught or be found out for lying. Right? And let's be very clear, especially for Rhoda, using the idea of black men attacking black women for simply turning them down, and using the idea that black men do not protect black women, especially when other black men are attacking black women. Using those two ideas that are running around in the black community because of angry, bitter little black women like Chrissy and like Kim Foster, women that make money off of them, even if they didn't live that life, like Paris Milan, the super grifter. For all of those people that subscribe to Paris Milan, y'all gotta be the worst. Y'all, this is crazy. Because out of all of them, Yanni is horrible. Chrissy is horrible. But Paris don't even have no evil origin story. She just stuck her finger up. Oh, wait. The wind is blowing that way. Okay, I'm going to start selling that. She's the biggest grifter of them all. And y'all let the super grifter don't even got an evil, excuse me, origin story. Don't even have a heartbreak or colorism or whatever origin story, which it wouldn't matter anyway. But she didn't even try to make up or fabricate an evil origin story. But these people created the space and their foremothers before them, right? All of these people created the space, man. So on that note, everyone, I had to do this tonight once again because I think all of these stories, like I was saying earlier, have a through line. And it's people not understanding and being students of history. These people, they speak about us like we're big dumb dopes. And Mr. Z is not saying I can remember all the names and all the events and all the dates. I'm not here to flex my understanding of history. What I'm saying is it's become very clear that these people aren't students of history, and they took for granted that progress, the way they see it, was a thing. They took for granted that we were always going to be moving in the direction that they thought we were moving in. They took for granted that what progress looked like, particularly for these people within the Black community, is a continuing to minimize, dismiss, disregard, insult, belittle Black men and what they think, what Black men feel, what Black men desire. And they thought if they could just kiss enough white ass and other things, and if they could just show how non-threatening to the overall system they are, if they could just ingratiate themselves enough, that they too would be in. If I beat up on Black men the way you beat up on Black men, will you let me in? You need to go no further than Kim Foster herself telling you she cried on the phone or whatever, whether it was in person or on the phone, it probably was on the phone with the white YouTube exec. Kim Foster, you tried to weaponize white women tears against a Black man as a Black woman. You attempted to weaponize Kim Foster. You need to hear what you actually said. You, as a Black woman, want to see a Black man starve because he's hurting your feelings. And you attempted to weaponize your crocodile tears, white women tears, against a Black man. This is quintessential Black feminism right here. You can't get more Black feminists than trying to weaponize white society against a Black man. This is at the foundation of Black feminism. This is one of the most important pillars. God damn it, it's the most important pillar. It's not even one of. It's the most important pillar. Weaponizing the white state against quote unquote wayward Black men that do not adhere to the Black gynocratic order. Right? If other Black men do not come to your aid to regulate and to put this Black man in place, then you go to Big Daddy White Man. Ain't that right, Kim Foster? Right. And Trell says, it is the cornerstone. It is the foundation. I didn't even say cornerstone because cornerstone, it gives this more symbolic feel. That's the connotation I've always gotten from cornerstone, but it may not be so integral to the structure of the thing, right? I said pillar because pillars are like integral to the actual foundation, so this thing doesn't fall apart. And emphasizing how important this is the most important pillar that the Gayle Kings and the Oprah Winfreys and the bell hooks and all of these people, that this is the pillar that they stand on. Right? The At the end of the day, I need the white state to use its monopoly on violence to regulate Negroes for me when I'm tired of quote unquote playing nice with them. And that's essentially what Kim Foster said about Obsidian. I'm tired of playing nice, and I'm calling the white YouTube execs to come and regulate these Negroes, right? And Ishmael, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker. Oh, okay, okay. All right, all right. And Trail says in ancient architecture, the cornerstone was integral piece of the building to the building around. Okay, okay, okay. Right. So all of this is tied in from Fanny Willis to Rhoda to Kim Foster, and I tie in Juicy Smoulier and Carly Russell and BLM. All of it. All of it is built on, and the black woman that ran her car through a goddamn intersection and killed that family because she just broke up with or the black man just broke up with her, or however that went. All of that is tied in. All of it. The black women that continue to try to hit their boyfriends or husbands with vehicles. All of it's tied in. The through line is black men ain't ish. NASIC, right? Negroes ain't ish industrial complex. And taking for granted that that would be the order of the day forever. And that the white liberals would continue to extend to you the space, the resources, the time, the energy to continue to forward this message. Right? Black men's waywardness, black men's ineptitude being the issue in the black community, black men's misogyny, black men's misogynoir. That's the issue in the black community. Nothing having to do with you. Every once in a while, you'll throw under the bus maybe a hood sister or a black woman that you feel is a pick me. Yeah, every once in a while you'll throw one of those under the bus, right? Every once in a while, a Kim Foster will throw a Young Miami under the bus, right? Or a Brittany Renner. But it's easy for Kim Foster to throw Brittany Renner under the bus because Brittany Renner's light skinned. Ooh. Well, Ishmael, that's what it would be, right? Black women want to be white patriarchs, right? They want to be white patriarchs, especially within the black community. All these people, they speak about politics and they play around with all of these different concepts, social concepts, not really. Um, but really what it boils down to is being white patriarchs that get to practice negative liberty like how they think white men get to do it, right? Once again, white men and black women are the freest people in the society, and that was said by a black woman. I would say yes. I would say that was the goal, right? And Ishmael says that's a question. Can black women exert social dominance mechanisms despite being an outgroup against outgroup men, their own men? Other outgroup men, absolutely not. Black men in particular as an outgroup men, That's, I mean, you can listen to BGS speak about that. That's what they've been able to do since the plantation, right? And the Kim Fosters of the world, they know that that exists because of white folks. That's why she called YouTube, right? Like, aware black women, and even the ones, what's the name of the white dude um that chubby white dude that Gus T Renegade flexed on? um he goes around giving these lectures, anti-race lectures. What is his name? Ugh. Anti-racist lectures and stuff like that. His name is right there. His face is right there. And Gus T Renegade flexed on him because he tried to minimize what Dr. Francis Cress Welsing um said in the book. I forgot his name. Tim Wise. Thank you, Azriel. Tim Wise. Tim Wise. Right? Tim Wise speaks about, I want to say, his grandmother. And he said something along the lines, his grandmother, was this his mother or his grandmother? I want to say his grandmother, raised his mom not to be racist and whatever. And then that's how his mom raised him. If I'm not mistaken, it might be his mom, it might be his grandma. And he said something along the lines like, this woman who did all of this, and anti-racist work and et cetera, and raised his mom to be this way, and that in turn raised him a certain way. She was in a nursing home, and as she started to lose it, right? I think either Alzheimer's, or something, like whatever was going on up there, she started to call the women at the nursing home all type of N-words, right? And thank all of y'all, right? Design and art, KW Don and Ishmael, right? So this older black woman, at the end of the day, and that is if we take what he's saying at face value, right? If we take what he's saying at face value, this older white woman who did all of this work, raised her daughter not to be anti-black, and then that daughter turns around and raises Tim Wise not to be anti-black. But she knew how to say the N-word. She's losing all her mental faculties, but she know how to call somebody the N-word, right? She know that. She know how to try to make someone feel small by calling them the N-word. I'm tying that to, I'm tying that to what we're saying. Let me highlight that comment again. Give me 1 second. Let me 1 second. In the Ishmael comment that says, that's a question. Can black women exert social dominance mechanisms despite being an outgroup men, their own men? Not only am I going to use that example, what Tim Wise says, I'll also use what Army Ose Frimpong said about the bird watcher in the situation he found himself in with the white woman. I think her name was Amy Cooper, and his last name was Cooper also, funny enough, but I can't remember his first name. But something along that, right? And when Army was being interviewed by Crystal Ball and Sagar and Jetty, and they spoke about that story, and Army said something along the lines of, he doesn't know if she was raised anti-black or racist. I mean, if you're born and raised in America, of course you are, but she knew to press that button. When things got hot and heavy, she knew to press that scary black man scaring me button. She knew to call 911. She knew how to fake cry. She knew what to do. She may not have ever, and this is Army kind of saying, I'm paraphrasing, but this is the funky academic Army Ose Frimpong saying this, which is like, she may not have never did this before. Very possible she never did this before, but she knew what to do and how to do it. I'm saying that about Kim Foster. I'm saying that about that black prawn star that we spoke about a couple years ago, or maybe a year ago, and her trying to be, they're harassing me about black men, right? We have created the space in this society for all people to play that game, including black women. And yes, black women will pull that card too. The black men harassing me, attacking me, making me feel scared, black women will pull that card too. Christian Cooper, thank you, Ishmael. Christian Cooper. That was the bird watcher. Ooh, GC. Ooh, I like this comment. We got to use this. We got to use this. And GC says, as someone on Twitter said, quote unquote, all women are white women. Let's say that again. All women are white women. I'll add to that of varying degrees. Right? I like that comment. Right? And once again, Ishmael, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker. That's a good one. Right? As someone on Twitter said, all women are white women. Well, you can't get any. I mean, where can you go with that from that? That's a perfect statement. And I'm tying what Tim Y said to what Armio said, Frimpong, the funky academic said, to say that's what Kim Foster practiced. Right? That's what Rhoda practiced. Weaponizing this society overall, and then black women's angst and anger at black men specifically against black men, because everybody know you could play that card, including black women. And FD signifier and consciously and foreign man in a foreign land and T1J and Dr. Umar Johnson and Willie D, right? And Boyce Watkins. All of these people refuse to own that the black community opened up a space for Rhoda and for Carly Russell and for Kim Foster, because y'all been talking crap to black boys and men for decades, and you were saying it in front of your daughters. Right? And you were saying it in front of your daughters. You were, quote unquote, reprimanding Dr. Umar Johnson with going on to not cruise season, what's the name of the damn show again? Goddamn. Mr. Z, I'm gonna need you to start remembering stuff. you say the name of their channel all the time. Goddamn, Z. Right? He went on to that show to reprimand those young men about what they're not doing for black women. Essentially not marrying black women. Marrying these angry little bitter troll ass black women. Daily wrap up crew. Thank you, Detroit. Thank you. Right? Y'all are doing that in front of the women. You realize we're dealing with a group of people that took a quote from Malcolm X, took it out of context, remixed it, and now use it to beat black men over the head with? And then you're going to quote unquote reprimand and quote unquote discipline and quote unquote lecture black men in front of these people? That's how you get Rhoda. That's how you get Chrissy. That's how you get Kim Foster. That's how you get Paris Milan. That's how you get Exodus. That's how you get Mahogany Pink. That's how you get Cynthia G. That's how you get Crystal and Kerosene. That's how you get, once again, Kim Foster. That's how you get Khadijah. varying degrees of toxicity. That's how you get Gayle King. Ooh, that's how you get Oprah. Goddamn. That's how you get Bell Hooks. Well, that's how you get Alice Walker. Well, damn, Z. That's how you get all of them. That's how you get Real Talk with Yeti. That's how you get all of these people. That's how you get Princella. That's how you get all of these people. That's how you get all of them. And when they get caught lying, their hand is in the cookie jar. In it. Everybody see it. It's red. It's in the we walked into the kitchen and their hand is in the cookie jar. We all see their hand in the cookie jar of them lying. We all see it. All of us. There is no everybody walked in and their hand is in the cookie jar. Thank you. Thank you, Detroit. Add it too. That's how we get Ebony K. Williams. That's how we get Malika Andrews. Whenever these people get caught with their hand in the cookie jar, here go Conscious Lee trying to reprimand us for catching these women. Their hand is in the cookie jar. Here go Conscious Lee, who got to preface everything before he starts saying, well, okay, before he even starts equivocating for them. He got to first start talking crap to you. That's Conscious Lee. Here comes FD Signifier trying to reframe it. Well, do you really see their hand in the cookie jar? I mean, you can't see past their wrist, but are you sure you could see their hand in the cookie jar? Well, maybe we should have never left the cookie jar in the kitchen in the first place. I know we told them not to put their hand in the cookie jar. Maybe it's our fault that their hand is in the cookie jar, but I'm not saying that their hand is in the cookie jar. Right? Here go consciously to reprimand you, and here go FD Signifier to try to contextualize it and tell you, oh, but nuance. And I mean, like, why do you care so much? And why are you trying to say that her hand is in the cookie jar? I mean, I'm not saying it is, it might be, but the fact that you acknowledge it, I gotta start questioning why you're acknowledging it. Now, here's the kicker. Now, if your hand was in the cookie jar, we would stomp you out. Did I tell you not to put your hand in there? Or we just caught you? Oh, this your ass. And belts start coming off. Your dad's belts start coming off. Your uncle's belts start coming off. Your granddad's belts start coming off. Your mom, your aunt, your grandma, everybody's belts start coming off when they catch the boys and the men hand in the cookie jar. And the cookie jar, once again, is lying. Fabricating stories predicated on the angst and the anger and the resentment at a certain demographic within the Black community. So Black women get caught doing that. And everybody want to start contextualizing and nuance and are you sure you saw what you think you saw? But when it's Black boys and Black men, which by the way we don't do because we know better, everybody belts start coming off. Right? Everyone, this is where Dr. Umar Johnson come in, and then FD Signifier and Conscious Lee and Foreign Man in the Foreign Land calling y'all nig cells and all that. Right? And a Split Jim says, and thank you for the super chat, they have been weighed. They have been measured. Oh, they have been weighed. They have been measured. They have been found wanting. These people are on top. That's a whole different stream. Excuse me, different and separate stream about how these people can never be satisfied. That's a whole different stream. right? And Ishmael says, so just accept the power dynamic. That's what they're trying to tell you. I mean, literally, that's what FD Signifier said on his second time speaking to Bernard Riley. That's the one where Ed checked him. And once again, let's frame this correctly. What FD was saying is like, no, maybe I'm not advocating for patriarchy or matriarchy. I'm just saying, this is where we get to the but. I'm just saying that, essentially we live under a white hegemonic rule with white men, and white men ain't going to empower black men. So, I mean, the black community is going to always default to matriarchy because, and it's kind of what BGS is. It's different than what BGS saying. The framing is different, but it's kind of what BGS is, which is the resources flow to the women through the women because, once again, white hegemony. With FD, BGS is not telling you to accept it. He's telling you this is what it is. FD Signifier is saying, I'm just saying this is what it is. I mean, what can we do? Play nice with them. And play nice with them means defer to them or kiss ass. Defer to them if we're trying to be generous. Kiss ass if we're trying to be accurate. And Trell says, get behind black women. That's not what Tiffany Cross said. She said, get next to behind black women. We know what she said, and we know what she meant. She said, get next to, right? Black men just get next to behind black women. Right? Huh. And BGS says, and thank you for the super chat. And BGS says, put some spec on his name. Man, no one in the black community can ever pronounce respect the correct way ever again. Birdman has completely torched that. We can never say respect correctly outside of maybe work and when you're around like, white folks. But like outside of that context, you can't say respect correctly no more. I just refuse. I always want to say it either respect without the T, right? Or just spec. I don't ever want to say it the right way ever again. Right? Oh yeah, Simone Sanders. Yeah, Detroit, absolutely. Simone Sanders saying who asks black men for their unsolicited opinions? Absolutely. Right? And she could talk like that because of brothers like FD. And when I say FD, and when I say consciously, yes, these men are not even 50. I'm saying brothers like them and their ideological elders. That's what I'm saying. Because, G Serotonin is in his 30s, and he tell you when he used to talk to elders about his mother and other black women and how they maneuvering and acting. And these, I'm assuming these are elders that are probably in their 50s and 60s at this point. He was always spoke down to. What he was saying was disregarded. So when I say when I say FD Signifier and consciously and T1J and foreign man in a foreign land, I'm speaking about them, but also black men that preceded them. Right? Absolutely. And BGS, once again, thank you for the super chat. Absolutely. That's why these people speak the way they do, and they took it for granted. And I'm going to continue to stress that. They took for granted where they fit in history. And I've already said, that I kind of I disagree with Martin Luther King on one thing. And I've said it multiple times. I've said it on Art Channel, BGS Channel. I do not believe that the arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice. I don't believe that. I don't. Right? That's the one thing. If I ever was to, if I, however history would work, but I would be like, I don't know, Dr. King, that one right there, I don't know. The arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice. The bending towards justice part, every once in a while, I think we find ourselves in this era where it looks like it's bending towards justice for a second or two, and like a lot of things in history got to play out a certain way, but like, nah. You know, I was watching something. This was months and months and months ago, and they covered that little segment speaking about Afghanistan, and they were speaking about like how like Afghanistan was like markedly different than the Afghanistan we think of right now. Like I want to say somewhere in the 60s, 70s, right? Like it looked like it was progressing a particular way. Like Afghanistan was like looked like it was moving towards like being sort of kind of somewhat sort like the at least the way I heard what was being said, right? Is that Afghanistan looked like it kind of was moving in the direction of a Saudi Arabia. That doesn't mean that it wasn't going to be authoritarian, but like when you think of like the buildings and when you think of like the architecture and like modern city life, it looked like it was kind of moving towards, at least once again, this is the way I was internalizing what I was hearing. It looked like it would have been at this point kind of sort of what we see Saudi Arabia as. That doesn't mean that it wouldn't still be iron fist authoritarian or monarchy, but at least, you know, not just modern technology, but just the way you see these things. And like it just didn't happen that way. And I'm pretty sure that if you were standing in whatever time that was that they were speaking of, somewhere in the 70s or 60s, that you'd be like, oh, we're progressing, but then it just didn't happen. And I'm saying that these people take that for granted. And I'm saying like, you know, I think when you look at, particularly in the West, when you start the clock, let's say with the fall of with the rise of democracies and the fall of monarchies. So you could start that somewhere in the 18th century, somewhere in the 1700s, right? With post kind of starting with the Enlightenment period, but definitely post Enlightenment, and then you start seeing the fall of the monarchies in the late 19th century and the early 20th century, right? And you would definitely think like progress, right? Unionization and all this other stuff. You progress. Once again, all these monarchies falling, people adopting a socialist or a liberal, right, mindset, and you're watching elections go on, and you're watching the yoke of feudalism finally really start to break, and yeah, progress, right? Women getting the right to vote, and particularly in the West, at least, quote unquote, minority groups. Which one of the presidents, um, vice president was indigenous, right? One of the presidents in the early, one of the vice presidents in the early, I want to say early 21st century, 20th. I'm not 21st, we're in the 21st, and then early 20th. Which one of them was the vice president? Either mixed indigenous or like full indigenous. I think mixed. I think mixed. Progress, right? All of that. It sounds nice. That's why I brought up Barack Obama and then Trump earlier. Progress. Black president, right? Progress. Got the White House with the rainbow colors. Progress. LGBTQ people could get married. Progress. Right? All of that progress. Sounds nice. So I could definitely understand this idea, but that's the one thing I just don't agree with Dr. Martin Luther King on. I just don't. I don't. As a loose student of history, nope. Right? There's been multiple times in history where it looked like it's going a certain way, and then nope. Right? And you see that. As a matter of fact, there was a certain time when the Persians, excuse me, were at war with the Greeks. You can argue, and I've seen this said multiple times, that actually the Persians were more on the progressive side of history than the Greeks at that moment in time. What that mean? And we've definitely seen nations and city states throughout human history that were culturally better, um, had better concepts and ideas of quote unquote free and not even equal so much, but like different ideas that were better than the other nation that crushed them, that beat them. What do your ideas mean if I have a superior military? It was Hoover's administration. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And better you, here's a question for you. And you can pretty much end indigenous the indigenous people's fight for this land where? Uh-oh. There's a whole discussion to have about black intelligentsia and how quiet they were during Barack Obama's administration, and how Trump was able to call them hypocrites essentially with his presidency, which he did. Ooh, Z, ooh, 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 ooh. I'm just saying, you know, it's something to be said about always playing the same play because it works. Playing the same play because it works. And people fall for the same play over and over again. Right? Black president, then black vice president. Huh. Just saying. I don't think it's a coincidence. Black Supreme Court judge, you got two black women married to white men that occupied some of the highest positions in this land. I don't think that's a coincidence. Right? And Wolf says you saw I think you mean to say you saw the Black Manosphere terrorism video by Kim Foster. Yeah, I already did a review. As a matter of fact, my that's what my 5 hour long live stream from a few days ago, that's what it was originally supposed to be about, and I did cover it a bit, right? And of course Kim Foster is going to say that because we're challenging, and this is what my video tonight is on, we're challenging her entire worldview. We're challenging everything she's talking about. So of course she's going to call us quote unquote, and terrorists. I already said it on the channel. So terrorists, of course she's going to call us that. And it's really, nobody is running up on no goddamn Kim Foster literally. Physically, literally, no. Kim Foster has a problem, as I've said, as Obsidian has said. Kim Foster has a problem that social media has democratized the town square, and so she and other people like her don't have a monopoly on the narrative about the black community anymore, and that circulates in the black community anymore, particularly concerning black men and black women's relationships. Black women like Kim Foster no longer have the monopoly on the narrative, and they don't just get to tell black men to shut up and sit down anymore. Kim Foster's angry that her and Simone Sanders can no longer just say, "Who asked you for your unsolicited opinions?" And that's the end of it. That's her issue. She needs to be honest. It's not that we're quote unquote going to terrorize you or terrorizing you. Stop. Nobody cares about your fake white woman tears. It doesn't work. That's a play that white women could pull, and only certain white women in only a certain amount of time. White women get to pull that on people of color, namely black people, namely black men, definitely upper middle class white women. Dear Kim Foster, unfortunately for you, you can't pull that. I know you're trying to do it on black men, and white folks let you play that game every once in a blue when they want to bury a black man anyway. Unfortunately for you, I know you're trying to make them make Obsidian a target. It ain't worked yet. It's probably not gonna work. Right. So yes, I saw it. I saw it. I'm with. Right. Hmm. So the through line, and I'm making sure I say this correct. The through line between all of these stories is taken for granted that you're on the right side of history, and that your side of history is the moral side, it is the just side, it is the correct side. Black men are aspiring to be all the worst parts, and this is why they speak about hyper masculinity, all the worst parts of a particular brand of white masculinity. The same white men that you want to end up with, low key. Right? Huh. So once again, thank you for the super chat. Wolf. And Ishmael says, I agree with your assessment. There's a vulnerability that black men and boys live with. We walk out into the minefield every freaking day. Yeah, and you know, black women really took for granted, and I'm talking about black women like Kim Foster in particular, the cloak that they were able to construct with intersectionality, right? And it's you see them speak about it low key resentful about their invisibility in this society because the way they frame it is that black men, at least you're seen enough to for these people to want to kill you, right? Like, yeah, these people want to kill you, but at least you're seen. At least you're visible. At least you're acknowledged, right? This is kind of where Say Her Name comes in. Low key, kind of what jealous of black men's death. I'm just saying, right? And it's this idea like, but at least you're seeing black men. This society treats black women like they're invisible, right? And now vulnerability that black men have, and this is what happens. See, black women, if you really took what straight black men that are not trying to kiss your ass, if you took what they said under consideration, then you wouldn't be at the edge of about to fall off right now because white folks might be pulling the rug from under you, You wouldn't be where you are right now if you would have been listening to straight black men from way back, right? You know, Andre 3000 said black men got something to say. Well, no, he said the South has something to say. I'm saying black men have something to say. The Northeast, you know, you're about to get it right now. Maybe we just got to do what the South did to the Northeast over the past 20 years of hip hop. Maybe that's what needs to happen. Once again, black women, you took for granted your position. Hmm. I mean, compassionate, literally. I mean, they very few. I think black women would outright say it the way you just said it. But yes, and compassionate Callus says black men hog all the attention with our death. It sounds so grim when you say it, don't it? It sounds so dark and ugly and morbid when you say it, don't it? They don't got the ovaries to say it like that, but yeah, that's what they're saying. Trail said decentered NY, exactly. Right? Ishmael said, hey, hey, Z, hold up one damn minute. New Yorker here. I'm just saying, y'all know y'all don't got no music to rock to like that. Y'all ain't have, man, look, I see you, Fabulous. I see you still trying to hold on for dear life. Ah, ah. Okay, I'm not going to do the New York slander today. I ain't going to do it. I ain't going to do it. We got bigger fish to fry. Right? Every time I blink is it Fabulous putting out a new a new freestyle. Right? That's what I said. I'm from Brooklyn. Where's the lie? I'm just saying, y'all know the South been running for 20 years. I ain't even gonna do it. I ain't even gonna do it. Right? What are we in 2024? I could argue more than 20 years if I really, if I could push it for more than 20 years. Where's Jada Kiss at? Right? Oh man. I got a whole thing to say about Jadakiss. When he was what song was it with him and Jeezy and the whole squad, and Jadakiss said we treat every town like it's New York or like it's D Block, and I was like, I don't know. There's a reason why DJ Khaled really blew up when he moved to Miami. Ooh Z, ooh Z, ooh Z, Z. Goddamn. Uh-oh. Just saying. You know, y'all could really say that it was pretty much done for New York after G Unit and Dipset. That was pretty much that was it. That was the last chapter. Look, I ain't gonna do this. I ain't gonna do this with y'all. I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. Tasha said, "Mad because we the most educated in the USA." I don't know if that's a serious comment or not, and I don't know if that's pertaining to the Northeast or we're talking about black women right now. And if we're talking about black women, that's not what the data actually says. I'm pretty sure Asian women have something to say about that. Oops. Tasha, there's a difference between the most enrolled, and that was for like 2 years, and the most educated. I'm pretty sure Asian women got something to say about that most educated, that black women. They might, you notice, Asian women don't even try to challenge y'all on it. They, you know what? We ain't even gonna do it. I'm just saying. Tasha, stop saying that. Y'all gotta say that around black women. Y'all could, you know what? Y'all got so comfortable with black men not challenging these kind of what's this hearsay, this quote unquote common wisdom, these sayings that black women run around with in the black community. Y'all got so used to black men not challenging it that y'all say it, and then when it's challenged and it's factually inaccurate, and then y'all end up with egg on y'all face. I really don't want to say the other thing I wanted to say. Yeah, it's not true, Tasha. I'm telling you, be careful with saying that. You're gonna say that around the wrong people, they're gonna hurt your feelings. I'm whoopsies. Tasha S, are you really in him Hawkins in disguise? I'm just saying. Right? Just saying. Tasha says, y'all just spitting out false information once again. You know, I really wanted to give black women that. I really don't want. I look, man. Mr. Z been knowing how wrong that is. I just don't like to burst a bubble on that one. I really don't. But when they become militant with it, it's like that ain't what it says. Right? That's not black women. That's not what it says. Stop. For your own sensibility, stop, because y'all gotta say that around the wrong white dude, right? And he gonna crush y'all with that. And y'all know when the white dudes get fed up, and y'all know y'all really want them to accept y'all. So y'all gotta come across the wrong white guy. It ain't gonna be. It's not even gonna be a brother. And let's be honest, you don't really care what black men gotta say anyway. So y'all gotta come across the wrong white guy, not even the white woman. You're gonna come across the wrong white man, and he gonna tell y'all the truth, and it's gonna hurt. Right? Okay, you trolling now. Okay. Disregard Tasha as we're gonna continue. Now she trolling. Right? Tasha S, are you sure you're not divested conservative? BGS, why she going there? Wait. She called you, she says, BGS, you're just a bitter old male. Look up the stats. Are you sure you're not divested conservative? I'm just saying, wait a minute. Look, one black woman get in here. Look, we back to the business. Look, as Mr. Z about to end that, I gotta go. Oh, okay. And to answer the question for someone who asked Mr. Z, where have I been? Look, so two things. Mr. Z just needed some rest time. That's number one. And number two, Forza. So I finally started playing Forza Online, Forza 8, Forza Motorsport. It's just called Forza Motorsport now. It's not Forza Motorsport 8. It's officially just called Forza Motorsport. Although unofficially we call it Forza Motorsport 8 because that's where it fits in. For the Motorsport franchise, I'm not speaking about Forza Horizon. and I've been playing that online, and your boy's been doing pretty okay, and getting my ass kicked because of penalties. So if you didn't know, for those of you that played all the Forza Motorsports before, if you played Forza Motorsport 7, now if you clip the grass the wrong way, you get a penalty. If you hit a car, another racer, or if they hit you and then you end up hitting someone else, penalty. So Mr. Z's been getting podium. So I come in like second place, third place, and then because I racked up 4 seconds of penalties, now I'm in fifth and sixth place. So Mr. Z's skill level, so out of 1,000 to 5,000, my skill level is a 4750 something. So I'm pretty good skill level, but my safety rating is like third to last grade you can have. So the third to worst grade you can have, because Mr. Z believes in if you even scrape the paint on my car, I'm going to spin the rest of this race, especially if it's a track that I don't really care about. Especially Forza has a bunch of bugs, so even though you save the replay, it doesn't show up as saved when you go to your media. So like media is where you're supposed to go to watch your saved replay, your online replay that you saved. So you want to just keep on watching yourself beat everyone else, come in first, second, or third, especially for people like me that purposely try to start off at the end of the pack. So like 20 something cars, I'm starting off at like 17th place and I still managed to get third place. I'm definitely saving that replay. Guess what? The replay ain't there no more. So because they still haven't fixed the bug of saving replays, guess what? I don't really care right now to like spin the whole race crashing into you because you thought you were going to use me as a wall on this corner. So yeah, so my safety rating is like third to worst grade you can get, but my skill level, so that means Forza is like, you know how to drive, but you be crashing into people. So once again, my skill rating is pretty damn high, but my safety rating is pretty damn low because I'm going to spin this whole race crashing you off. Yeah, that part. Anyway, and PK says Horizon has the best soundtrack. Of course, absolutely. The first Horizon, to me, the first and second Horizon had the best soundtracks. Azriel over here rubbing it in. Azriel says Gran Turismo 7 gifted me a Bugatti Veyron for New Year's. Excuse me, y'all. How did Forza treat you this holiday season? Let's see. I wasn't playing online yet. Forza was laggy and buggy. Azriel trying to rub it in right now. Yeah. So yeah, horrible. Absolutely horrible. But yeah. I told y'all I ain't even gonna pay attention to the troll in the comments right now. We ain't even paying attention to her. That's why excuse me, y'all. That's why I'm over here talking about Forza and whatnot. I'm sorry, y'all. I got pulled in. Listen, lady. How old are some of those Italians? Why they still living at home with their parents? Ooh, God. What's the unemployment rate in Italy right now? Ooh, Z. Isn't Italy holding down the rest of the European Union? Isn't Italy like Greece right now? Z. What y'all think? Mr. Z ain't keeping up with his international politics? Are you sure you want to call black men in America dusty, Tasha? Are you sure you want to call Italy ain't looking too good right now, Tasha? Are you sure you want to call black men you want to call black men in America dusty? How's that Italian economy looking right now, Tasha? What's that unemployment rate? What's the birth rate in Italy right now, Tasha? Ooh. Huh? What's the marriage rate in Italy right now, Tasha? Oh, you ain't know. Once again, y'all take for granted. Thank you for proving my point. Y'all take for granted where y'all fit. See, you think you could come on to Mr. Z's channel, and because Mr. Z speaks about black women, black man things, right, and relationships and lack thereof, you ain't think Mr. Z knew enough about Italy. How's that racism treating you over there? Ooh. And that anti-blackness. Huh? Thank you, BGS. Italy doesn't like black. Contrary to what a whole lot of black women in America would like to let you believe, Italy is still Italy. Isn't Italy a country in, wait for it, Europe? Huh? Italy. You mean the Italy that got anti-blackness going back millennia? I didn't say centuries. Huh? Italy. I'm with Sid. It's Jess in disguise. She wants more of that Saturday stream energy. She wants some more of that Saturday stream energy. Of course. If that's really her, yeah. None of her. Thank you. And Black Lewis says, and Italy doesn't feel guilty about past mistreatment of black people. Millennia. I didn't say decades. First, let's start from the beginning. I didn't say years. I didn't say decades. I didn't say centuries. I said millennia. Right? Italy has anti-blackness going back millennia. Their history, the African continent, hasn't been kind going back before what's his face out of what is now y'all know who I'm talking about with the elephants. Mr. Z, I'm gonna need you. This is a lack of sleep, y'all. This is what happens when I went to sleep so late playing Forza. His face is right there. His name is right there. Y'all know who I'm talking about, right? Somebody go put it in there eventually. Hannibal, thank you, Tro. Hannibal. Somebody knew. Azriel, Hitflix, thank you. Right. So how long ago was that? Carthage, thank you. And whoever you are, Miss Tasha, Jess, whoever, N.M. Hawkins, whoever you are, you talking about Italy. Stop it. Which one of the Italian leaders ever messed with y'all? Who? Julius Caesar? Nope. Mark Antony? Nope. Well, he was piping on what's her face, but nope. Which one of them? Jeez. Mr. Meat says, that's General Barker to you, sir. Right? Stop, Italy. Hey, you gotta, bro. It's once again, this gotta be for real, just because this goes back to Elon Musk all over again. And what did I just say? You might as well have bought up what's his face, right? Out of well, not even out of Belgium, yes, right. Cecil Rhodes and the other one, I just said his name with no problem, right? These people, dear black women, you got to stop romanticizing the Europeans. I know. Leopold, thank you, King Leopold. Yeah, right. You gotta stop romanticizing these Europeans. I get it. I know y'all want to be white women so bad. Y'all wish black men were the ones that went around the world, raped, killed, and destroyed the planet. Hey, I know. So when I first started saying that, I know there was a lot of brothers that were like, "Nah, that's not what they asking for." Z, we got issues with the black women, with the sisters, but that's not what it is. And you let them talk long enough, and Chrissy pretty much said it, huh? Yanni pretty much said it. Jess pretty much said it. Uh-oh. Huh? You let them talk long enough and they say it, right? One time I was on the Radical Latinos channel and an Afro Latina sister said it, pretty much said it. Thank you, BGS, racial hypergamy. BGS, so my previous stream, you might want to check it out because I have like 20 links. It could have easily been like 25. So for those of you that remember or that was listening into that stream, as you recall, I only had 8 links. And I said, you know what? I could easily make this 24. I could easily make this 15. And literally, I ended the stream, and it took me all of maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes to put up another 12. I promise you, it did not take me 20 minutes to put another 12 up. It took me 10 to 15 minutes to find another 12 videos of Latinas, Asians, black women worshiping at the altar of the almighty white peen. And y'all know that's what this is at the end of the day. That's what it really is, right? That's what it is at the end of the day. Right? So whoever you are, Miss Tasha, thank you very much for proving our point. Coming in with the lies. And I promise y'all, I do not want to burst black women's bubble when they say that thing about being the most educated. I really don't. If y'all want to say, there's even a way to frame it. You ever see people in like, they try on you, but you like, I should help you in like insulting me because you really suck at it. Like black women, there's a way you can frame it. The most educated within the black community, yeah, institutionally educated at least. There's a way you can frame it where you can still defecate on black men. There's a way you can, but you just suck at it. Y'all taken for granted. I wanted to say taken. Y'all taken for granted that you can continue to not know what the hell you talking about and still punch down on black men. You took it for granted. It really is. And Black Uru says, and I'm gonna have to say it exactly how it's said here. That rather be a white man's hose is a real thing. It really is. For women globally, it really is. Thank you, Trell. The most indoctrinated. And that's all. Right? And these people talking is just proof. It's just proof. And thank you, ladies. Thank you. And watching these people cop pleas for these women consciously, FD signifier, is just proof. Black Uru says, maybe they mean most educated as a percentage of student loan debt. Let's not even talk about black women's student loan debt. right? If there's any if there's any slap in the face to black women that they're not white women, there go right there. That's student loan debt. That student loan debt is real as hell. Y'all better stop playing. How many of y'all were deferring and deferring and deferring before COVID? How many of y'all voted for Biden hoping and praying that he would get rid of the student loan debt? The most educated? The most educated would have knew better. Damn, Z. The most educated would have knew that Mr. Credit Card, I mean, they call this man Mr. Credit Card, wasn't going to forgive no goddamn student loan debt. You mean the same man that while he was campaigning said he had no sympathy for millennials? You thought that man, as millennial women, not just black women, namely black women, but not just black women, scream as they get buried by student loan debt. And you thought the man that told you he had no sympathy for millennials was going to pay that off. I'm just saying. Just saying. Thank you, Wolf. And yeah, Tone Talks mentions this all the time. And Wolf says, "Black mother getting excuse me, excuse me, black mother getting co-signed couldn't co-sign her daughter's student loan at Spelman College because of her unpaid student loans." Bro, uh-oh. I didn't even know this. And Black Uru says the same Biden who was the lead senator who excluded student loan debt from bankruptcy discharge. Black women. Okay, see, I have an excuse. I have an excuse why. First of all, student loan debt, the little bit that I had, this once again, community college dropout, it's gone. I've been paid that off. Right? So I have an excuse why I don't know. Secondly, I did not vote for Joe Biden. I have an excuse why I don't know. Black women with tens of thousands, if not $100,000 or more in student loan debt. Why didn't you know? I'm just saying. Just saying. And John Jones says, heavy on the most educated would have known better. Just saying, look, for real. It's I want to say disappointing. It's more than just disappointing when you watch women like Kim Foster and Khadijah just OD on the desirability talk instead of things like this. You know, BGS covered the end of neoliberalism. I'm tying the end of neoliberalism with a certain type of worldview and mindset that was able to fester in the black community for decades. And these people who are far more institutionally educated than I continue to overdose on talks of desirability and aesthetics. And especially for Kim Foster, it always comes down to colorism or black men being somehow wayward or immature or sexist or misogynist or misogynoirist. I don't know if that's a word. It's not, but okay, we'll make it up, right? Huh. Well, ha 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 ha. And PK says, I couldn't imagine taking on such debt for unrealized gain. Crazy game. Yeah, but when you've been told and when you've convinced yourself that you're going to go it alone, or that if you can't get you the rich black dude or any white dude, then you're going to be out here by your lonesome, then of course you're going to take out that debt because it's another lottery game, right? You're taking out the debt so that you can get this education and use it once again as a way to stick your middle finger up at the masses of black men, hoping to lottery ticket win your way into just about any white man or the well-off black dudes, right? A college degree may not have meant that much if you had intentions of being with a man, a black man, and doing this thing that you keep on saying that black men aren't doing, building, a family and a legacy and a lineage. That way the college degree could matter, but it wouldn't be the be all end all of your identity. Uh-oh, that part. Huh. Just saying. And on that note, y'all, look, y'all about to make this the whole night. Right? But and this is where Better You comes in and says Z with his multiple exits, his multiple closing. Excuse me, y'all. I'm not even gonna read that last one out loud, Detroit. I'm not. Yeah, that is. Oh, that's hysterical. Oh, that's funny as hell. Oh my god. Oh, I'm not even. I'm not gonna read that out loud, but that's funny. Woo. Oh man. Man. Oh man. So New York don't got love for the West Coast? Dancing all in the videos. Oh man. Oh. Oh man. Somebody gotta do a whole thing with her with the red blazer on. Oh man. So black men don't got love for black women. Oh. Oh man. Man, that's funny. Woo. Yeah, I could see it now. I could see it. Somebody gotta make a video animation with her with the red blazer. Oh man. That's funny. Man, that's funny. Because yep. Nobody asked for your unsolicited opinions anyway. Oh, that's funny. It's so messed up. It's funny. Yeah, because that's exactly what it would be. Who asked for a black man's unsolicited opinions anyway? It's funny because it's true. And yeah, BGS, we gotta close it on out. And BGS said, y'all ain't gotta go home, but right? Yeah, man. So on that note, everyone, y'all have a great, great, great rest of your night. Let's do our outro. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, that was what Detroit, you messed me up with that one. That's a good way to end this stream. You messed me up with that because that the red blazer on stage because she pretty much did say that with the unsolicited opinions, right? Like, yeah, for real. That's a good question. Who would be Snoop? Tiffany Cross. Oh, yeah. Or Ebony K. Williams. Yeah. Mm, yeah. One of them, or Malika Andrews. And I gotta be Snoop from Baby Boy when he put the window down and he had that mean mug on his face. Yeah, that one. That one. So on that note, everyone, we're gonna pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content for the love of God, so y'all don't sound like these people who thought they were at the forefront of like some type of quote unquote progress where they can marginalize and minimize and disregard black men and black men's concerns and then still somehow be able to shame black men for doing for them. And like this was considered quote unquote progress where they could literally lie on black men's name and then somehow use the new Black Panther Party to protect them as they turn themselves in to the the right authorities. Shout out to Rhoda. Yeah, you see what type of weirdness? I'm going to use the angst, the anger, the racism, the anti-blackness against black men and garner $40,000+ out of it. And then when I get caught and I have to turn myself into the white authorities, I'm going to call the new Black Panther Party to assist me with that. And the new Black Panther Party is full of the same armed black men that I was insulting when I was talking about when you see a lesbian woman or when you see a woman kiss her. Oh, yeah, y'all forgot she said that, right? Yeah, she did. Huh. And the same black men that I was using their image and degrading their image to get that $40,000, I'm going to then turn around and ask them for help as I turn myself in to the white authorities. You imagine? Yeah, that's why y'all got to check out more than just Black Manosphere content so y'all don't fall into this bubble that these people are in. Yeah, on that note, everyone, we'll pause right there. Have a great rest of your night. Mr. Z out. All right, everyone. Ask him for help. For help. For real, Trill. All right, y'all. Mr. Z out.